Hi, welcome back to my video. The other day I uploaded a video on this car, the review of this car. I just wanted to add further to it because I was thinking to myself, it must be quite difficult. You think Volkswagen came out of the Mark 1 Golf and it was that perfect first album. Well, I think so anyway. You think about the fact that it was such a great success. How could you better on that? And you've got to ask yourself that. It must have been very difficult to bring out the Mark II knowing how well they did with the Mark 1. It was that tricky second album type scenario really, and for me I think they did a really good job. You think the Mark 1 had it all really, and I say in my last video I own a Mark 1 and I think they're a fantastic car. They really do breed a loyalty with their owners and they get right under your skin, and I think that's why so many people love the Mark 1. And it was the original hot hatch, as you can see from Top Gear on Sunday night when they were reviewing 40 years of the Golf GTI. You know, it was the godfather, it was the granddad of hot hatches. It wasn't the first one, I'll always admit to that. There were things that were before it, like the Lotus Talbot Sunbeam I believe was one of them, but the Golf GTI, the Mark 1 Golf GTI was a household name. It made it work, you know, it had that winning formula, plus you got to remember when the Mark 1 came out, you know, we had cars that would break down every time it was Monday, ready for work, and it, you know, it was up against things like what they showed in Top Gear with the, was it Triumph Sprite, was it? Oh, I don't know, but it was the fact that it twinned performance with reliability, and that's what made it a success and a household name. And I love that Mark 1. There was flaws with the Mark 1, you know, I'll be the first to admit as an owner, the brakes weren't very good, they were okay-ish. If you got them set up right, they weren't bad, but you've got to remember the car was designed with left-hand drive in mind. It was never going to be the the success. Edit that bit out. No, I can't because I don't know how to edit properly. And yeah, it was never really. You can see I've not done these videos. Joking aside, it was never going to be the, you know, people didn't really, you know, Volkswagen, I think they were surprised of how successful it was going to be, and it was a lifestyle brand choice that we see it today. It's, dare I say, it's the Apple iPhone of the car world, the Golf GTI. Everybody aspires to own one, or most people do, and people have got that appreciation for the fact of where it stands in the hierarchy of cars. You know, dare I say, you know, in the 90s, early 90s, we all aspired to own a Ford Orion. That was the 2.4 children car on the driveway, and then by the late 90s we all wanted a 3 Series Beamer. So, you know, things change, and for me, like I say, I'd go as far as to say, in my opinion, that the Golf GTI is the Apple iPhone, you know, of its time. I did think that the Club Sport, I did like it. I'm not going to lie, I did like it. But I did agree with the presenter. I did think that as a Golf GTI, it should have everything about it. So 2 back seats missing, to say 30 kilos was, I think, a bit ostentatious from Volkswagen, really. So yeah, so getting back to what I was saying, it must have been difficult for Volkswagen to bring this out, and I remember reading articles and reviews about the time that it weighed a little bit more. So I didn't say that in my last video. Yeah, the Golf GTI Mark II weighs a little bit more, and I'm sure people in my first video will say, I don't agree with you, Chris. I think the Mark 1 is the best one. And like I say, I can't wait to get back into my Mark 1 when I put it back on the road. I might eat humble pie, but I still state the fact that as much as I'm a Mark 1 fan, I still think this is slightly the better car. It was the one that really brought the Golf GTI product to where it is today. and the fact, obviously, with the Mark II, you had the 8 valve and 16 valve and the G60 variant engines to work with, so you had plenty of choice, really. And I just feel that build quality was that little bit better. I just think at the end of the day they brought out a product that was amazing in the first place and tweaked it even better than it was. So for me, yes, I do feel the Mark II in this form, the Digifront 1987, I've never driven an early Mark II with the Bosch K-Jetronic, but I do feel in this format, as I drive it now, it just lacks that little bit of electric buzz fizz feel on the accelerator. That's the only thing, and obviously the weight. But to be honest with you, when you get this thing on song, it's really enjoyable to drive, and I didn't really get that across in my first video. Like I say, I'm new to this. You know, I love cars. I do like, you know, I plan on doing a few reviews, you know, to get my point across, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos as well, really. That's the main point of it, that I make my point. We've all got different views. Some you might agree with, some you might not. But for me, the Mark II, you know, looking on it in hindsight, I still think just for the overall package of what you can do with it, is ever so slightly the better car, really. And that really does, it's a hard thing to say, especially being a Mark I fan. You know, if it wasn't for the Mark I Golf GTI, I wouldn't be sat in this car now driving this thing, really. So I thought I'd add that to it, and I was getting a bit frustrated thinking about it the other day. And like I say, it's, you know, a hard decision to make, but for me, without rambling on, I still stick by my guns and think this is just the slightly better car. And with that note, I'm going to leave you in peace. Take care.